Hi, this is your April market update. I'm Christina Ward, Christina and Company at Keller Williams Realty, and I love showing you guys the charts and graphs. So I'm just going to share my screen and show you guys some fun numbers for April in Ada County and Canyon County, Idaho. So we're looking at the resale stats right now, and we've got 235 houses for sale in our county, 769 buyers under contract. We've appreciated 8% this year. Last year, we appreciated almost 18%. You know, when we're looking at the bottom of our market was 2011. We appreciated quite a bit to get out of the bottom to start recovering. So we had a 12%, 17, 4, 8. But to start to see these big numbers like 11, 17, and 8 already this year, we're not even halfway through the year. To see appreciation at that rate not coming out of a market shift is kind of strange. Technically, we should have shifted at 2016 based on the history from the peak of 2006 to the peak of supposedly peak of 2016, because markets shift about every 10 years like that from peak to peak. But here we are in 2021 with 8% appreciation. We have 0.3 months inventory, that's 9 days of inventory. And then you can see here, this breaks this down by the price range. So if you want this for your area, just message me. I've got, Southeast Boise, Northwest Meridian, CUNA, I've got North End. If you want this for your area, I'm happy to email it to you. But in all of Ada County, it is a seller's market, even at the $1.5 to $2 million range. We're seeing multiple offers and bidding wars up at the luxury range. When you go over to 2 million, it does change to a buyer's market. Last year, our cutoff was 1 million. When you went over 1 million before last summer, it was a buyer's market. Under 1 million was a seller's market. So now it's just everything under 2. So in Canyon County, there's 101 houses for sale, 367 buyers under contract. The average price is $324, and it's appreciated 8.7% this year. Last year, it appreciated just over 20%. Also, Canyon County has 0.3 months inventory, so 9 days of inventory. It is a seller's market up to 800,000 in Canyon County, and then it goes to a balanced market between 8 and a million. It's at 4.2. We don't stay at a balanced market very long, so we'll move to probably a buyer's market here shortly. We will see. And then definitely a buyer's market, 12 months inventory at over 1 million. It's just the buyers that are at the $1 million range that are shopping are likely going to be shopping in Ada County. Or they just have choices. So they're shopping in both counties, and you're competing as a seller in Canyon County. If you're a luxury property, you're competing against a lot. So I just was on a call with Gary Keller, and he was doing a market update, and I'm not going to do this justice because I'm just going off of his slides, but I thought it might be interesting to share what he was sharing. And he has a whole research department at a university in Texas where they gather data, and nothing that Gary ever promotes or says is political. It's always data driven. I've heard him speak negatively about both parties, all presidents. Like, he kind of speaks negatively about everyone, but he's just really real and really data driven. He showed us the vaccination rate of our country, and he said that this is the one thing that we don't know. We don't know the future of our market because we don't know what's going to happen with the pandemic or what's going to happen with vaccines. But this shows our, and this was at the end of April, so this is a little bit old, but it shows our vaccines for one shot or for fully vaccinated by the end of April. And he also went over the GDP levels. I really like this. This is by, yeah. So you can see what happened in April in 2020 with GDP and how much we've improved now. So that's really good. And this actually doesn't show us all the way till now. That shows our improvement in the fall of last year. We saw some improvement. This is a little bit easier for me to see when we're looking at GDP quarterly. So GDP actually wasn't so good even before the pandemic started. We want to see it in the 2s, he taught us. And then you can see what happened in the spring of 2020. Everyone stopped spending money, right? I mean, I did. I didn't know what to expect or what was going to happen. And then we saw a lot of improvement, a lot more trust in everything getting better, and to be continued for 2021. he shows us, I'm gonna show you guys the hospitality industry, which is a little bit different as far as employment. So but first we're gonna look at the employment level for all industries in our country. And we saw, this is employment, not unemployment, right? So 151 million employed before the pandemic. And then we got down to 130, and now we're creeping back up to see some improvement there. So that's good, but we're not totally improved yet. Here's the leisure and hospitality sector. This is what's really kind of shocking, is how hard hit that industry is. Same with restaurant industry, retail. It's been interesting to watch those sectors really struggle. Financial industry is doing really well. Obviously, real estate's doing really well, but some industries are really struggling. And that's really probably the biggest difference between these times and the Great Recession, is the financial industry struggled in the Great Recession. This is different. So we are at 16.9 million before the pandemic. We went down to 8.7 million, and now we're creeping back up and seeing some improvement. I think what the CDC came out with last week with is going to give people more trust to start traveling. And, as vaccinations happen, we'll see more traveling, and from folks that were uncomfortable traveling. Also real estate, we can see some changes with vaccines. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Consumer spending, got a really interesting graph here with spending. So there's where I felt it. We stopped spending for sure. We really, really held back on our spending in our business and our personal life, just in case it was going to get bad last spring. So we're seeing some improvement, but this is interesting that it's, we're not quite, no, we got back to where we were. Yeah, we got back to where we're pretty much almost back to where we were with spending. Treasury rate. So our interest rates are follow the treasury rates. So we have to watch this graph to see what's going to change with interest rates, because the two biggest factors to changing our market from a seller's market to a buyer's market will be interest rates and inventory. So I'm going to keep track on that at a weekly and monthly level for you guys. But let's see, interest rates. Here we go. Interest rates are, I like this one better. Oh, that's better for me to understand. Thank you. Here we go. So mortgage rates are at 2.97. They did go up a little bit in March, and I felt it from the buyers. I'm curious if other agents felt this, but I definitely felt it, that there was a little bit of like, wait a minute, I'm going to pay $500,000 for a house in Nampa and get a 3-something interest rate, which 3s are fantastic, you guys. If we look at the history of interest rates, we are so lucky to be in the 2s and 3s, so lucky. But I did start to feel a little bit of buyer fatigue when interest rates went up a bit into the 3s, and now they're back down to the high 2s. Most of our clients are getting high 2s, low 3s right now. And then inflation, we got to watch this too, but this is annual percentage change versus taking out, the yellow is taking out food and energy. So there is all the Dorky charts and graphs. I'd love to email any of this to you, answer any questions, do a market analysis if you're thinking about moving. I don't never seen a better time to make a move personally, because we're maximizing our sales price on our house, especially for our move up buyers, our clients that need a bigger home for their family, or because they're working from home. Those folks are selling their starter homes for crazy prices because buyers really need those right now, and locking into that awesome high 2s, low 3s interest rate and buying a home that they can live in for a long time. Because what we know and what we saw in that chart, from that original chart from the counties, is that markets go up and down, and when you own a house for a long time, it eventually goes up. If you have questions about any of this, I'm here for you. I'm Christina Ward, Christina & Company, Keller Williams Realty Boise. I hope you all have a great day.